Hey YouTubers, I haven't done this for a while, so um, I'm I'm feeling like letting out some critical thought mass, as crossmack would put it, because well, I see a shrink, and well, he's been suggesting lately that I write journals and stuff like that and songs, as I think I've mentioned before, but I guess it's not enough of a release for me, so or especially now, so I just figured I'd do it now. So what's on my mind right now? It's been a pretty tough time. Um, Over the past 6 weeks, I've had uh, somebody I really care about never talk to me anymore for reasons I can't understand, or I think I know, but I can never know for sure. My grandfather got terminal leukemia, and he's probably, at least at the moment now, he's not going to survive till the end of this week. My grandmother is dying because of Alzheimer's more quickly than usual. A 19-year-old friend of mine in Ontario died 2 weeks ago because of TB. And a 14-year-old friend of mine, a guy, is dying of leukemia as well. He has 3.5 months to live, and he decided to tell me finally that he had fallen for me for the past year or so. So I'm feeling, even though I shouldn't, I'm feeling sort of bad about that. So I don't know. I don't know how to react anymore. I don't know how to think anymore because my life seems to go into stasis all the time. My psychologist always tells me that the psyche that I have now is very dangerous because my emotions, for reasons that I can't understand, go in tidal waves. They suppress themselves, they suppress themselves, they suppress themselves, and then they break up like some sort of tsunami, and well, it leads to mental breakdowns and things like that. But end point is, I no longer have a rational point of thinking at that point, and I do terribly stupid things. Like not, well, more relationship wise in terms of relationship with the people around me, and also a negative relationship with myself. So I I've never considered myself, surrounded by death all the time lately is just, I don't know. I remember studying that Buddhists surround themselves by symbols of death all the time so that they can constantly contemplate it and thus understand it and be comfortable with it and accept it. I've never been a religious person. I'm still not a religious person. At least not religious as in I don't believe in institutionalized religion. However, I have a hard time understanding why all of a sudden, nowadays more so, I hear so many stories of desperation and death. I've 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 talked to people and the response is always the same, and they always go, well, you go on with it and live with it. Yeah, fine, sure, that is the realistic, that is the understandable, not rational response that I agree with, because it allows me to continue. But I always wonder if maybe there's more than that. Because I'm a creature of emotion, like like every other human being out there. Maybe to a greater degree, or maybe even to a lesser degree. But I'm a creature of emotion, and it boggles my mind how a human being can be within two worlds and be rational on one point and have a tidal wave on the next, and I can't seem to make sense of how those two things work together anymore. I feel constantly overwhelmed every day with either an overdose of emotionality or an overdose of rationality. My songs and poems are either raw or they're contemplative. And I'm finding it very hard to find a middle ground. And I don't know, I mean, I'm ignorant of the world, like so many other people out there, so I couldn't understand. I don't know what other people would have in response to that, or how they deal with that. I mean, death is one thing, but the principle behind how we live and how we die and how we exist, and regardless of the fact of why we're here, why do people feel pain? Is it just purely attachment, like the Buddhists say? And if we feel pain, then why do we allow pain to continue? If you constantly live with happiness, then you lose what sight of happiness is. If you constantly live in I don't know, evil, you lose sight of what evil is. But pain is neither good nor evil. Pain is a thing unto itself, and has a completely different negative effect on us. How is it that we can sustain under so much pressure and rending of emotions and putting ourselves back together and rending of emotions? Any machine, any construct, after being taken apart and put back together so many times, ends up giving way. And when do we give way? I'm not even making any sense to myself at this point. I mean, but I'd like to know what you guys think of that, just to see if maybe I'm just thinking weird, or to see that anybody else actually tries to understand how we work in that sense. Thanks a lot for listening.